Hi there. Welcome to Unruly by Nature. This is episode 5 or episode 1. Or if you're like doing it like computers, it's episode 1.5.1 or 2.1. I'm not really sure. It doesn't matter. All I want to say is we decided we're expanding into the podcast realm. So you can find us on YouTube and Substack like you have before. But you will also be able to find us on all the favorite podcast services as well.
Woohoo!
And I would like to introduce two of my favorite people and friends in this world, Rachel with My Animal Matters, Sue Mim with Heart Connection Dogs, and I am Kim Howitt with Radio Canine. And we just need to let you know that Unruly by Nature isn't your typical dog podcast. It's a gentle rebellion. And we're here to challenge the status quo, if you will. And having said that, I'm just gonna start right off and stir the pot. Ladies, I got a question for you.
Juicy.
And I'm just gonna say that we are all not anti-label, but I think we all have the same feeling about how we label something and it's intense. And we use it too much and like it can cause problems. So there's lots of labels that we use in the dog world, be it animal communication, training, whatever the case might be. When it comes to our companion animals, dogs in particular, there's a lot of labels. What's one label that just feels so cringy that you need to like sage the room after?
Sage the room after.
It just makes you feel like you need a shower.
Gosh.
Sue.
Well, there's the obvious one for me, which is the trainer one, right? Because we've moved so far, I think, from the actual training, although there is an element. I mean, there's an element of training that comes into it. There's things that we can teach our dogs, and, they're taught through methods of training. So there is that element that's in there. But I think that the title and the label dog trainer, we've come so far and we need to move past that actual label. One of the challenges around that though is we don't like to, me including, and I know there's a lot of my colleagues who don't like to use the title dog trainer anymore. They prefer something like dog coach or mentor or guide or there's loads of different things that go in there, wellness coach or something like that. But how do we, and I'm going to throw this question back at you. So the question that comes up often though is when we take away a label because we don't feel it fits anymore, to educate the general public around that, because they're still looking for dog trainers and they still feel that their dog needs training because they don't know anything better. So labels are not helpful when we understand what we're doing in a different way, and we need to relabel it in so that it's in alignment with what we feel and what our values are. But in a way, it's a word still that resonates with other people who haven't got there yet, or I don't want to say haven't got there yet, but haven't explored different things. So it's an interesting territory to go down, isn't it?
Do you know, I literally, I can feel I don't even know where to begin. Like, I can feel my whole body vibrating with the word label. And as you said, it's not that we use them because we are orally fixated. Is that the right word? We are linguistic. We use words as human beings.
Yes.
So
Yes.
all words, I don't know, all words, but a lot of words are labels. And oh gosh. Okay. I'm going to go to Kim. This is such a big one because I'm so passionate about it. Reactive. Said it, the R word. I mean, I get it. I understand why we have these words, because it then gives us maybe direction. I don't know. It means you have, anyway. Reactive to me it's such a bollocks word, to be quite frank. I can't edit it anymore. It is such a bollocky word, because it's essentially these guys are going to lose it. This is why we're unruly. You just brought it. You had to go there, Kim, because it's just like we have these sentient beings, these animals. Kim's lost it. These dogs that live with us, that have their own language, their own emotions, and they're so in tune with their bodies, their environment, and they're constantly feeling everything. But so when we label a dog reactive, we've essentially just slapped like this massive sticker on them, and that's it. They're just reactive. That's it. So then we just go to, okay, well, how do we make them not reactive? Well, we can do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, which is fine. All of those things are fine, but what's actually really happening with the dog? What's the dog actually saying? So it's like, if a baby's crying, we don't just call it, reactive, do we? We want to know why the baby's crying. Is it hungry? Is it in pain? Is it laying on a pin? It's like there's so many nuances that are underneath every expression of our dogs. And I just find the label reactive so meh. It doesn't tell us anything about the dog. Or it's like, the dog's in pain. The dog needs space. The dog needs more rest. The dog needs, and yeah, we do look at it a little bit, but there's so much more to it than that. There's so much more to it than that. And I was driving Darcy to a field this morning, and I was playing music in the car, and I thought, I've just left the house where I had the radio on, and now I've got music in the car. I'll probably have conversation with my girlfriend on the phone, and then I'll get into the field, and there'll be birds singing. There'll be like the wind will be blowing in the trees. There'll be so many different sounds, but God forbid a dog barks. It's like, that's just not allowed. I feel it. I really feel it. So, it's such a big topic, Kim. So I just feel that when we label our dogs, we stop listening. We stop really listening to them in that moment and what they're actually expressing in that moment. So I feel it does the opposite to helping our dogs. I feel it actually suppresses the connection that is there. And it just, it's meh.
Oh, this just went exactly where I was hoping it would.
So what about you, Kim? What's your word?
I mean, first I gotta say I love Trainer Sue, because I wouldn't have said that one, but it's a big one, because so many dog trainers are out there like saying they're a trainer, and that the whole definition of that is just cringy to me. But yet it's not a bad thing to be there to help people and their animals. But it just seems like you're in a zoo and you're teaching a lion to stand on a big freaking ball or something, And it's like, I just love that you brought that up. And Rachel, your word reactive, I mean, I was a huge user of that word with one of our dogs, and it just, you're so right. And I think for me, you hit it when you said
Bollocks.
that. Yes, definitely bollocks. I love bollocks.
Yeah.
But when you're like labeling your dog as reactive, you immediately put them in a box, and then you're looking for something instead of listening. And so there's something there. And for me, the trigger word that just, it almost brings up a physical illness. Like one of the labels, I just, there's many, but for me, it was aggressive. And it's much along the lines of reactive, but I hear it so often when clients come to me with animal communication, and it's my dog's aggressive. They growled at another dog, they're aggressive. We like just throw that word around like it's candy at a parade. I mean, it's so overused, and then you think you immediately, like, when you think of something as being aggressive, what happens? You shrink up as the owner, and you start fearing everything. My dog's going to be aggressive. They're going to like bite this or do that. And then I look at, we're living life with a different species. We don't speak the same language. Yet we have these expectations that we can put them on a leash where they don't have the freedom to get around. And I'm not saying any of this is wrong. It's just like when you look at it from their perspective, you're connecting them to you around their neck usually. And you're asking them to maybe go into a facility where 100 other dogs are. And that amount of energy, that amount of excitement. I mean, we all know, we've talked about it on previous episodes, that excitement and fear bring out the same adrenaline response. And the perspective is what allows us to see the difference. But our dogs, man, they're just so, we ask a lot of them. And I think, this is what we three are doing here on One Level, is to like help people to see things another way, because I am an advocate for people helping people with their animals. But I think when we label things, we make it smaller and like mean a specific thing, and we try to fix something rather than to expand the relationship.
Yeah, Kim, I love that. And I'm going to go back and include that word trainer again in that context that you're referring to. Because if we say, all right, we're going to train the dog, what does it mean? Why do we need to train an animal, at any being? Why do they need training? It's giving it a very mechanical relationship. It's referring to it as some kind of mechanistic thing that we need to. It's not referring to a sentient being or a relationship. You wouldn't talk about training your child to do something. Training in the maybe in the human form is, I would at a guess say, mostly reserved for athletes or some kind of people who want to train a specific sport or a specific let's say go train at the gym to achieve a goal. But it's got when we're talking about our dogs and raising them or helping them to understand the world around them, we don't need to train them. Training is just such an outdated phrase, and it doesn't fit at all with the kind of relationship that we want to encourage with our dogs, and certainly give them put them on a par with being a sentient being, because sentient beings don't need to be trained how to do life. They naturally know how to do life. They just need to be supported from others who have that empathy, compassion, all of those things, and who can communicate in a way that understands them, and allow the space for that relationship to develop and for them to grow. So training just doesn't seem to fit in the kind of relationship that we want to have, does it?
Even the word dog is a label. And that's why the labels per se aren't bad. We use them to converse, but we all have a different perception of what a dog is based on what we've read or what people say or movies or Disney, whatever. But I've had a lot of different dogs, and I've cared for different dogs, and I know that when I got Darcy, I still had an attachment to what I thought a dog should behave like, even though I thought I was quite open-minded. I still thought, oh, well, a dog should ... So it's that, I think it's just recognizing that labels come with these attachments on how we think they should behave and how they shouldn't behave, and to maybe go underneath the label and look at that being in that moment and with the lens of, and we've talked about this before, but who are you?
Mm.
Who are you today? Like, I want to learn about you. I'm curious. Like, when I was walking around the field with Darcy, I kind of follow her around, just having such envy of her nose. Like, she's got her nose stuck in leaves for so long, and all I can do is look at them. I'm looking at the color and the texture, but I can't smell the depth that she can. I can't. Well, I've got
Well, you,
visions of me rolling in the
well, you
grass,
could.
digging.
You could always try.
I could certainly try.
I'd like the video of it, please.
Next. I mean, that would make a great reel on Instagram, wouldn't it? Maybe it could be a podcast advert. It's Rachel getting beneath the labels and the leaves.
And the leaves.
But I just feel that the relationship is about learning about each other. Like, I can see her learning about me
Mm.
and me learning about her, but she doesn't know, like, she's a pointer or a dog or those are our words.
Yeah.
Of course, she knows she's a living being, but even that's a label. She's just this energy expressing itself in the purest form. So I just feel we've got to dig deeper and not just stick the labels on them.
When you first said dog, Rachel, I was like, well, they are dogs. What else are they? But then the sentence that came to me is, I'm going to get a dog. Now just look at that. I'm going to get a dog, or I'm going to get me a dog. How does that, I mean, really, that is crazy when we think about it. I'm just going to get an animal. I want to get something, and I want it to be my possession, and I want it to be in my life. It's crazy, isn't it? Right?
They're so adaptable, aren't they? How do they do it? Imagine if
I
someone
know.
just went. In fact, I was literally having this conversation to Bex yesterday. I said, imagine if someone just came and just thought, oh, I'm going to take you home.
Yeah.
And just, and just dressed you up and fed you this food and took you to events and made you sleep in a certain, how adaptable would we be? They're so adaptable. It's absolutely crazy when we
Incredible.
really look at it.
Yeah.
It is incredible.
What I mean, like imagine like being plucked out of here by the trunk of an elephant and like just put into their environment. And you're expected to know everything about it. And I think when you said a dog doesn't know it's a dog, I mean, it's brilliant because they don't know that they're a dog. We have labeled it, but they just get up and I mean, they probably look at us and go, like, who are these freaks with two legs? They can't keep up with me. Like, they're so like, we think somehow like humans tend to think they're at the top of the food chain. And I just know we're not. Like I think our reasoning mind gets in our way and they don't know that they're a dog. And I mean, I'm a huge advocate of dog sports. We play dog sports. We do train for dog sports. We practice. But to me, training is really just practice. And so if we could turn it into, I mean, even doctors, you go to a doctor, they have a practice. So like it's an imperfect thing, right? And we ask perfection of our dogs so often. And if we could learn to like instead of training our dogs that we practice being together. We work at learning the different languages, right? And for us it's observation and exactly what you said, going into the leaves with them and, not necessarily rolling in poop like Zori does. But I mean, maybe it's good for the skin. I don't know.
It's all a matter of perspective, isn't it?
It is. And it's like, we do mud baths, right? We do facials and things like that. So, I mean, maybe that's their version of a facial. Who am I to judge? But I think if we can work it, like just practice our relationship, because like you said, Sue, we do. I mean, like, I think we all have said it. I mean, I want a dog. I want to go get a dog. I want a cat. I want to go get a cat. And it's true. You have to find like, but I believe in the law of attraction too. And how you just get somehow the exact animal that needs to show up in your life shows up in your life. And you may not know it. You may not know it for years, but it's just always perfection.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, like if we shifted that narrative to I would like to experience sharing my life with an animal or a different species. That's really what we are doing, right? We're inviting another species to come into our lives and live in, yeah, our environments on our terms. And the least we can do is actually just get curious about who they are and how they desire to be at any time, given moment, etc. Just so that that's, I think, the least amount of respect we could give them.
Mm,
Well,
I love that. I love that way of rephrasing.
um,
I think that's like part of the key is to reimagine how we
mm,
speak about it, because I think the words have energy.
mm,
I'm now just thinking of all of the labels. I'm just thinking of all of the labels that we have as well, and that things, yeah, or like woman. Like there must be, I'm just stuck on that one. Like there must be a million labels that we have, and some we resonate with, and others we don't because of the underlying, what's the word? The underlying attachment to what that means. It's just, I feel like we make life a little bit complicated as humans at times, don't we? With
At
our
times.
language at
At
times.
times.
Yeah, like all the time.
I read a post very recently. I think it was yesterday. And the lady was talking about, the use of words basically, and said, what if you were to just stop using words and just start using your senses, to so spend a day sort of walking through life using your other senses, because when you come into a silent space, suddenly your senses do take on. It's like when we're using our voice and words, our other senses take the back seat, right? They sort of just disappear out the window. But if we get really quiet and just shut our traps for a while, we actually can start to move into our body, and our other senses come alive, right? Then they start to
Right.
do that. So I'm just trying to think. Oh, it was Louise Lebrun. That's what I saw her post on Substack. And that was, really, really interesting about just, coming back into the body again and using all these senses that we were gifted with, not just verbalization,
Mm.
um, and see how we can experience the world differently without the use of words.
I That's just reminding me of when I used to teach zoopharmacognosy workshops, and I'd have a group of people and they'd come to learn about what zoopharmacognosy is. And I'd start off talking and teaching, and then I'd start to work with the dogs and the essential oils. And I found when I started to work with the dogs and the essential oils, I then would lose the ability to speak properly. And people would ask me questions, and then I couldn't come up with the words, or because I'd gone from the thinking mind, because I was working with the oils and the dogs, into being in my body. And it was like I'd become a mute. I just could not get the words out because it just became so embodied with, maybe it was the aromatics taking me into that space. And I wasn't aware of it. So I learned to say, right, we're going to do the talking bit first, and then we're going to do the observation, but don't ask me any questions while I'm in it, because it'll be gobbledygook. But that's, I think, maybe why we all love the oils so much as well, because it does bring us back into our bodies.
The phrase energetic communication pops into my mind when you say that, Rachel. So that's a different kind. What would you say? How would you define energetic communication?
That's when we're in the feeling space, isn't it? So energetic communication is happening all the time, I believe, and we're always broadcasting information, for want of a better word, and we're always receiving information.
Mm,
But the way we perceive it is through feeling, through our senses, through, like, we might get a smell, or we might get like a sensation in our body, or an emotion, or just something, a pull. That for me is that our bodies are always sensing, But because in the West we're so focused on the mind and thinking, we've become disembodied. Like we don't know what it is like to feel anymore, which is maybe why people go into nature and do more meditation, because they're trying to get back into their bodies, and why our bodies are screaming at us because they're just like, oh my God, I'm here. Will you listen to me? Yeah. What about you?
I mean, for me, I think it's very similar. Energetic communication. I mean, the thing that I think the awareness to me that came when I started doing animal communication and working with the aromatics, like through letting the sensory system experience the aromatic, where you just sit with it and it's hard to turn your brain off. Even most of the time when you meditate, there's thoughts. So to me, it's like we're always going to interpret even the energetic information if we're going to make sense of it. And that's what our brain is good for. But when we can get an awareness that, like, we think if, like, for example, we think if a dog is deaf, they can't hear, or if a person is deaf, they can't hear. But realistically, they just hear differently. And I think there's this level of energetics that we don't understand because we have ears and we hear vibrate, like, but the tones that we hear are all vibrations, right? The things that we don't see with our eyes. I mean, the light goes in and it reflects off a part of our brain that then interprets that language. So I think when we start to understand that everything is an interpretation. I once did a communication with a deaf dog, and the entire time the communication was about hearing. And I'm pretty sure I thought the human person was gonna think I was absolutely, I'm gonna use your word, bollocks at animal communication, but he was telling me how it it comes to him in a different way. And I also had another dog who loved to eat things. Talk about it, he, like, had me energetically taste what mud was like, what leaves were like, what was a rock like, and I had to kind of visualize that energetic vibration, right? When you drop a pebble in the water, you see the ripples go out, and they're beautiful, and there's a video that I send to people all the time, and we can put it in the description of this, but it's called cymatics. And
Mm.
it's just amazing. All these different tones take sand and it makes these different shapes. And you see it in snowflakes. And so I think that, like, we're always going to interpret things into labels because that's how humans work.
Yeah.
But I think our dogs just experience and respond. And it's different. And I'm not sure that we are ever going to understand exactly how that works. Animal communication, I believe, gets us closer. Time with essential oils and aromatics, I think, brings us a lot closer. But I think it comes back to what you guys said at the beginning, which is really just sitting and allowing the silence. What you just said, Sue. I mean, exactly.
And there's, these days there's so much going on now, so many new studies that they're doing with kids all over the world. Blind kids learning to read without sight. Do you know what I mean? Learning to feel words,
Mm,
not braille, but actually learning to see with their fingers. I mean,
mhm,
this stuff is real. It's happening now. They're studying it more and more all over the world. So the old perceptions of us, just having these five senses and using them in a linear fashion, we are a lot more than that. We are incredible multidimensional beings. And I think the more we start to learn this about ourselves, possibly the more we would recognize it in our companion animals as
Mhm.
having this all along, because they haven't had the vocabulary and the words. So this is how they've kind of been living all along, as it were. And
Mhm.
it'll be easier for us to see that when we can realize that we can do it too. That we have other senses and other ways of perceiving the world um, intuitively, or using our senses in a completely different way that we've ever been thought to, that this limiting kind of perspective that we've had on it before. It'll be interesting to see how the future unfolds.
Oh yeah, just that intuitive communication between people, we do it already. I think we just aren't aware of it, right? I mean, how many times do you think about talking to someone and they call you? Or you read something about them. It's wild. So I think that that it just goes deeper, and I think we've been told it's wrong, or, I think of children. Just imaginary friends, or maybe they're seeing spirits, or whatever the case might be, and we're told that you're crazy, or we think it's wrong on some level, but we're just slowly remembering, I think, is
And what about dreams? This is what's coming
oh,
to me, is as that's when our conscious mind is asleep. So we're not then thinking anymore. We're just in that pure receptive space. Like the last 2 nights, I've had 2 different people come into my dreams, and I messaged each of them because
mhm.
you've come into my awareness for a reason. Doesn't matter. I just know that we need to connect, and that's it. And that's maybe enough. That pull. But I feel that, again, if we keep to the theme of labels, we think dreams are just made up stuff. Like we'll say, oh, I dreamt that because I watched something scary, or I dreamt that because yada, yada, yada. And then, but there's so much richness in dreams. So I've learned to wait. I definitely used to have a lot of scary dreams as a kid. Really, really scary dreams. And I'd say I had a pretty sheltered upbringing. My parents wouldn't let me watch anything scary, so I wouldn't have witnessed anything. But at the age of 4 or 5, I'd have nightmares that I was being chased by someone with a knife. Sorry to take it to a dark place, but where's that come from? Where is that? What is that? Is that an ancestral memory? Where am I getting those images from? And I'd wake up and I'd have moved my room around, or I'd have had a nosebleed. So it was I felt all of it. I mean, the outcome was that I'd get my mum's, attention and lots of love. That was always the lovely bit. But where's that coming from? Is that not us just tapping into everything because we're in that rest state? Do you both dream?
Yes, a lot. And I'm fascinated by my dreams as well. Sometimes I love the way it speaks in metaphors. That's, to me, it's always so fascinating, the kind of metaphors. And again, my logical brain wants it to be like, well, what does that mean? And how do I figure it out? And what am I supposed to do with that, Instead of just getting curious about it, like you say, maybe reaching out if there's somebody in your dream and just reaching it out, but not having to try and figure it all out is my thing. Do you know what I mean? Is just to say that, wow, this exists, and it felt very real. Like you say, it feels so real while you're in it. And I've often wondered, if you go off into dreams, into different realities, and you're actually there, living in a different reality and experiencing that. So yeah, with so much we don't know about ourselves, and therefore about our animals too, and their world and how they perceive it and how they interact and live in it.
And I wonder if they have visual dreams too. Because I know when I'm watching Darcy sleep, sometime, like literally yesterday, she was suckling.
Mm.
And isn't or the feet are going, or I'll see her lips curling and she's really, expressing herself to someone or something. And it's so visceral.
Yeah, the whole body moves, right? They're kicking and they're screaming and they're barking a little bit. And yeah, I mean, the whole thing is happening in the dream. It's yes, but it would be interesting to see is there a visual movie playing out in their heads? And does it
Maybe
speak in metaphors like ours, or is it very more realistic? I
we're
don't
going to
know.
have to ask our own dogs now, aren't we? We're going to have to
Yes.
go into dream time with our
Yeah.
dogs.
Oh, there we go. That's next conversation to be had with your dog.
I dream a lot. I do. I dream a lot. I don't remember a lot, but sometimes you do, and I never discount it now when I remember a dream. It's like I just sort of sit with it because it's like almost you wake up with an emotion, right? Like you had this great dream and you wake up and you're like, wow, that feels nice. Or if you have the scary dream, and it's fine to take it to a dark place because, it's Halloween's closing in. So that time of year. But I think, like you said, Sue, it's like, I mean, our dogs dream for sure. And it would be really interesting. I wonder how, wow, now you're giving me, how do you get in there?
How do you enter
How do
into that
you
conversation?
Yeah, like, "Dude, what did you dream about?" Because I know I used to, like, be like, "Oh, I dreamed of so and so," or maybe it was a fake person, but when you dreamed of a real person in your life, and now I know when I dream of my dad, for example, like, he's probably coming to give me support in some way because he died in 1991, so he's still there, and he's still offering advice, it's just different, but now when I dream of a real person, I reach out, and, like, I mean, you guys know this story, but in the coolest way, I dreamed of a friend from Sweden who's in a band, and I just reached out and I'm like, "Hey, dude, I mean, it sounds so cliche, right? I had a dream about you last night. Don't
What
worry,
should you
Jim.
say that to?
All's fine." But, like, I just wanted to see, are you good? How's your family? Like, let's catch up. We haven't talked in a while. And I'm like, "I dreamed you were making new music and you were doing a gig in the States." And he wrote back and he goes, "Well, I'm not in the States, but I can accommodate the new music." And he's like creating a new album and he invited us to listen and help weigh in on songs that were good. And they were all just demo tracks. And it was just this amazing experience to see how he put songs together, how things work. And they were kind of in varying degrees of done and completeness. And I mean, it was like Christmas for Kim, it was like, this is amazing. But if I hadn't have reached out, that wouldn't have happened, and it all started because I had that dream, so
Mm.
it's just that I
And
mean,
what
it's like there's
so
this connection, and
Kim,
he was probably looking for people to help him,
Mm.
right?
yeah,
And so it's
synchronicities, right? So, Kim, what about this? So another thing's jumped into my mind now. So it's more on the less abstract side of it, but it's about there's a strong theory that we process emotions and we process events and experiences in our dreams as well. It's a way of emotionally processing stuff, that we do on a subconscious level. And so I think this is very true for our dogs as well, because I often, I've noticed a pattern that if my dogs have had a very stressful time, a stressful day, let's say meeting other dogs or going to the vet or whatever, their dreams are more animated. And so I really do believe that there's an aspect of them processing what they need to process. And possibly that's why it's such a healthy thing, because instead of bottling it up and suppressing it, they're able to work through that event and release whatever stress it is in the moment. And what a beautiful way to be able to do that peacefully. Well, peacefully, it doesn't look so peaceful sometimes, but in your sleep in an unconscious pattern. And if we gave ourselves more credit for that, possibly, we would also be able to do the same, right? Allow ourselves to actually process more
Mm.
emotions and events and stuff in that in a dream state, which can be really, I think, healthy.
Mm. More time in bed.
With hot chocolate.
I love that, Sue. I think that's really important because and you can correct me if I'm interpreting this in a way that you didn't mean, but like, instead of waking up and obsessing over what the dream meant, you just let it be what it is.
Mm, mm,
Mm.
And so you've had this experience and you wake up with an emotion and you just spend a little more time in bed and
mm.
with hot chocolate. And like just you don't even think about it. You just feel whatever that
Mm,
feeling is that you've
mm,
awakened with and just give it even 2 or 3 minutes. It's not like it's hours,
Yeah.
mm,
but you
mm,
just wake up and take a breath and just let it be.
mm.
Yeah, because I'll sometimes wake up with an energy, with a feeling in my body. And I may not necessarily remember the dream, but I'll be like, oh, I can feel a churning in my stomach.
Mm.
And what I would have done in the past would have been like, oh, what am I worried about? What am I worried about? And then I would have hyperfixated on that thing. Whereas now I'll stay in my stomach and just sit and feel it and listen and observe and just notice it. And then it may change, or it may stay there for a few days, and then it may just naturally go.
Mm.
But it's when we hyperfixate on the, what is that? Why have I got that? What's that doing
Mm.
there?
Mm.
That's
Mm.
when we kind of
Trying to overanalyze it and figure it out and fix it. God,
take.
we're pains in the butt when it comes to that, aren't we? Let's analyze everything. Let's fix it. Let's make it good again. Let's,
I've got a question, and it's around energetic information, but we're going off piste a little bit, as you know, I'm very good at. I would never go on the slopes if I was a skier. I would definitely be off. I'd be off piste. Do you ever just smell stuff out of the blue? Do you ever get smells come to you?
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Tell me about
Yes.
that. Okay. Sue?
I think the one I get possibly most often is the smell of cigarette smoke in the middle of nowhere. So I'll be out in nature and I will suddenly get a whiff of, do you know what I mean? So it's not like I'm in a busy room or I'm in the public transport or anything like that. I'll be walking in nature and suddenly I'll get a whiff of cigarette smoke. And to me, it's such it's a scent that does not fit in that environment. And so
Mm.
I believe that it's, I often believe it's like my dad or somebody who I remember as a heavy smoker is just there, is just present, is just around.
Interesting.
Yeah. But as far as that, I mean, that's the most common one that definitely comes to me. What other smells just pop in? Yeah, for me, like this morning, this morning it happened. I woke up this morning and I was just spending some quiet time and doing a little bit of a body scan, and I just felt that the left side of my body just needed attention. I don't know why. I just felt like my right side of my body felt quite heavy, and my left side of my body felt quite airy. It didn't feel grounded, put it that way. And I wasn't even thinking about, I was trying exactly not to analyze it, right? Just to be with it and experience it. And bergamot, the smell of bergamot just popped into my head.
Mm.
And before I never used to recognize it. Now I recognize that that's what my body is asking for without even asking the question. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? It's not like I'm saying, what essential oil does my body need today? It's not that. It's just me observing something and suddenly the smell of a scent of an essential oil will just pop in. And yeah, I trust that these days. And I just got my little bottle and had a few sniffs. And again, for no particular reason, not trying to fix anything, change anything, just because it popped into my head and I thought it was a good thing to do and it was fun.
I love that. I love that. What about you, Kim?
Yeah, I'm like Sue. I mean, I get things in the house. Cigarette smoke is a big one. Also pipes, like the old school, like, pipes. And I've always just attuned it to ancestors. But I also will smell like fireplace wood.
Mm.
And sometimes even perfume. But I'm wondering, Sue, like if it's more of an essential oil, like that comes through, and I'm
Mm.
just not it's not a particular one that pops into my head. It's just like but it's almost like a lady's perfume. Yeah.
Mm.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Mm.
So I've been smelling smoke, like not cigarette smoke, but like burning wood smoke. And actually, it's not been around for the last couple of days. It was there about a week ago. I could just smell it, and not outside, or it could be in the car. It would just be random place, and I'm like, oh, I can smell that smoke.
Mm,
Smell again, and it's fascinating, isn't it? Whereas
Mm.
my partner's like, I
yeah.
can't smell anything. I was like, well, it's definitely I'm picking up on it, whether it's within me or what. And the one that was most poignant for me was when I'd go and visit my mum, and I could smell my gran, who's not with us
Oh,
anymore. And it was always in the room, not that my gran ever visited this house, but it was in the room where my mum does her needlework. And I'm like, and as soon as I'm with my mum, I can smell I get this, I'm like, I can smell gran. And it doesn't happen with my dad or my brother, it's just with my mum, and that's her mum. And it's so cool.
yeah. I think we dismissed that a lot, though.
Yeah, we do. But so here's another perspective on that, right? We know that emotions are attached to all of the senses. So when we have a memory, it can be attached to a sound or a smell, a scent, or something like that. For instance, like if you think of your gran, you might automatically think of the smell of baking bread because she used to do that or love baking bread or something. So you associate a smell with a specific memory. So maybe unconsciously we have just had a memory recall of something, and then the scent that is attached to that memory pops in at that time.
Interesting.
And it
Yeah.
could be a sort of a subconscious memory that we're having at the moment. It's not, in the forefront of our mind. So yeah, maybe, I don't know. Just throwing it
I
out there.
Fascinating though, isn't it?
yeah.
It's fascinating.
I mean, it's amazing because I kind of had the opposite of that the other day. I think, Sue, you and I talked about it. I don't know if like Rachel heard this story, but I have like always have a bunch of oils just sitting around, and I might be in the same mood for the same oil for a month, or it might be a day or an hour. And I'm like, I want a new oil. And I got up and I walked in and I just reached, I tend to just reach my hand into a kit. And I know I'm going to touch and pull out the one that I need. I pulled out sage oil and I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird. I opened it up and it's like, oh, I mean, it's such a beautiful smell. It's, I mean, almost, uh, oh my God, my words left me. Like eucalyptus, like it's almost mentholy and
Mm.
like just this very cleansing. And then this memory popped into my head of when I was young and my family was on a vacation and we went to South Dakota to Mount Rushmore and I had gotten the flu or something and I had been pukey all night. And I'm with my dad. And I mean, I had to be pretty young because I see us walking up this trail and he's holding my hand and we're walking up this trail and it's hot. It's the middle of summer in South Dakota. There's no trees and he bends down and he goes, "Oh, look, this is a sage bush. Like you can cook with it." And he started teaching me about what sage is. And he goes, "Here, smell this." And I smelled it and I barfed all over the and I barfed all over the trail. And I can see this, like I was angry because he's laughing and I was humiliated because I just puked all over the place. And it's like it was this memory that I think like was it used to be probably traumatic and now it's just hilarious. And I'm like, isn't it like it's exactly like you said, Sue? It's just amazing what comes up when we're open to listening. And so I sat and just thought about that time and and then more memories pop out
Mm.
of the good times. But yeah, I
So
love it.
that's brilliant, Kim. So what now? Think about. I'm going to circle back to your sniffing with Darcy. So if
Mm.
we, if that scent can, bring up memories and things like that, it's very possible that a dog can do it. And if so, 10 times better than we can, or more. 10 times more information probably pops up in relation to their scent because they have so many more scent receptors, as it were. So can you imagine the information they draw, or maybe the memories, or the combination of memories and things that comes to them? And again, maybe not in pictures, maybe in a completely different way of how they may perceive that. And that's why they spend ages putting all those little pieces together of the puzzle that are coming to them as they're smelling that little patch of grass or that leaf. I mean, what a fascinating world it would be to just to experience what they're experiencing, right?
I'm just getting like abstract art.
Yeah.
It is
Who
like that, isn't
knows?
it? Going,
Yeah.
we go into a city to go look at galleries of art, and some we love and others we don't, and just it's rich, isn't it? But oh, I love that. I want to smell color now.
Oh.
Well, yes. What's that? Synesthesia? I think it's called.
What's that?
Synesthesia is a group of people all over the world who have. Uh, I, I don't know the full explanation of it, but it's basically people who see in music notes or see in hear in color.
Ah,
Uh-huh.
So they have a sort of a crossover of their senses, where they literally can do things like you just mentioned, see in color or smell in
Mm.
color. Yeah, it's
so,
fascinating.
so I have ringing in my ears. Let's give it a label, tinnitus. And now you've got me curious to listening to it. Like, are there colors? Do they have scents? Well, like
Mm,
what, what are the, because I think you have it too, don't you,
I
Sue?
do, yeah.
Do you, Kim?
Little
Do you
bit.
hear frequencies?
Little bit.
Yeah, mine are quite,
Mine are
like,
loud and clear. Loud and clear.
mine are too. And I have listened to them and then get alien pictures sometimes. Like, I mean, it's great, but again, it's interpretation, isn't it? I don't know that it's that am I connecting with otherworldly beings? I don't know, but whatever it is, it's fascinating to listen to the ringing in my ears and then watch
Mm.
it and note. And sometimes I'll see frequencies and I'll
Mm.
see them fluctuating, and then I'll notice them shifting, because it's not just a constant sound. It'll change. And maybe they don't hate it, but I actually really enjoy it. I know it's a thing that people try and get rid of, but I actually find it really comforting. I can't imagine what silence is, because it's like not being able to smell or not being able to see. I have all these different, I don't ever find it annoying.
I
Sue's
don't think I
disagreeing.
could say that I miss silence. I think I do miss silence.
Right. Yours is loud then.
But I hear you. I've stopped trying to say I don't want this. It's
Mm.
just it is part of me. It's what I have. It's who I am. And it's for me, it's fascinating when I listen to it, when I sit there and I try and listen to the frequencies of the thing, it changes. It sometimes even switches to another ear. It switches to my opposite ear because I've got it mainly in my right ear, and suddenly it will go this will go quiet and it'll suddenly come up in this ear, which is really weird. And then it disappears and comes back in this ear. So it's fascinating. Like, how the hell did that happen? So yeah. So again, so much we don't know about our bodies and why they do what they do and how they do it. There's so much information there, isn't there? Like, we have
Oh.
no idea. Whole little secret world going on in there.
So do you ladies, either one of you, hear things like, we smell smoke or whatever? Do you ever hear anything?
I don't think I do. You like, you mean as in hear voices? We're gonna sound crazy.
We are crazy. We're
We are.
unruly, baby.
We
I hear
love
voices
it.
in my head all the time, but I think they're mine.
Oh, do you, Kim, then?
I do. I actually do. I actually have
Mm.
answered them before, and I thinking it was Jim.
Oh, I love that.
And yeah, it's fascinating. And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, nothing. Or I'll hear groups of people. Like, it's wild. But then
Wow.
I start
Oh.
thinking, I'm like, sometimes, like a word just pops into my head, and it's like, I know it's one of the dogs, and it's just like, that's how they're reaching us, right? So, I think we get like tapped on the shoulder through all of our senses, and maybe
Mm.
sometimes we don't notice. And I don't think it's I think we all do. Like, there's just like you guys maybe don't notice the ears, but I imagine it happens. And it's something that's relatively new for me since I started with animal communication and really working with energy, that I started hearing things.
Maybe we'll notice it more now. You've
Yeah,
mentioned
that's
it.
interesting.
It's like
But-
when you say something like, "Oh, I've not done that," and then it happens, doesn't it?
Yeah. So what essential oil do you ladies have today?
I was going to say, because you mentioned eucalyptus, I have eucalyptus today.
Oh, see, I said eucalyptus because I knew that you had eucalyptus.
I love it. It's one of my very, very favorites.
I was going to offer it to the mic.
The mic says thank you.
Are you? Are you detecting the frequencies? It's black pepper.
Oh, divine. Beautiful. I love that.
Spicy. And I also have a mist of lavender.
Nice. Lavender and black pepper. Now that's a combo.
It's curious, isn't it?
Yeah.
It sort of feels like a hammer and a feather.
Well, for me, lavender goes with anything. To me, it's my bestest, favoriteest oil, and you can mix it and put it with anything. It's just one of those, for me anyway. Just blends with anything.
Kim?
Today? I have...
tomorrow?
I have tomorrow's oil today. I have a hug in a bottle. I have rose.
I nearly picked rose.
Mm.
Mine smells like a Mine smells like a sandwich.
Are you hungry, Rachel?
That's honestly, I feel like I want to eat it.
She wasn't, but now she is.
I don't even eat meat, but it smells like peppered steak.
Oh.
Oh dear. We've left the oils at the end.
We did, but we had to bring them in.
We did have to bring them in. Oh, it's brilliant.
What's black pepper saying to you?
It's taken me to It's taken me to Texas. I'm seeing big horns and I'm seeing like a Texas ranch type. Yeah, a rodeo. Very visual today, apparently.
Nice.
Yes.
I love it. Howdy.
Yeah. Hot diggity. Ding. That's just embodied.
Just put it up to the mic again so I can smell it.
This is what happens when we embody the oils.
Like we've said before, who needs drugs when you've got essential oil?
So true. I mean, black pepper would not be walking in the room going, "I'm a Texas cowboy." You know,
I actually have a vision of a peppercorn with a cowboy hat and like guns and holsters. The chaps on his little legs,
eating a big steak sandwich.
No, he's eating a corn on a cob.
He's like walks up to the bar and orders a scotch.
Oh, I love it. See,
ladies,
what
we have
happens
to
when
leave it there because we're getting a bit dirty now.
You see what happens when you don't accept a label.
Yeah.
All the possibilities, they're endless.
Cowboy pep.
Cowboy pep. I think that's the perfect note to end it on. Hot diggity.
Till next time.